Assalamu alaikum students. Okay, Assalamu alaikum students. Today I will give you the crash revision of transportation and system. First of all, I want to show you the syllabus. In this portion, I hope this is in front of you. In this portion, first of all, we have to study that human circulatory system is made up of heart, blood vessels, and a blood. And here we have to study about double circulatory system. Let's start with the PowerPoint. First of all, we have to understand that our heart is made up of, our circulatory system is made up of heart and different blood vessels, mean arteries, capillaries, and blood vessels. When we are talking about that, what is a heart? Heart basically is made up of muscles. Cardiac muscles are there. And here some information is written that, okay, it's almost for 70 years, the heart beats some 2.5 billion time, and it is an organ that is continuously working. In this portion, first of all, we have to understand the four main labelings. These are right atrium, right ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle. When we are talking about atrium are the two chambers that are receiving blood from the two portions of a body. Right atrium is receiving deoxygenated blood from the whole body, whereas left atrium is receiving blood from the lungs. Both the ventricles are sending blood to organs. Right ventricle is pumping blood to the lungs, whereas left ventricle is sending blood to the all over the body. Let's start. First of all, we have to understand the main labeling of this topic, heart topic. I'm showing you heart diagram. I selected one diagram for you. This one. I will send all the pictures to all the students on a WhatsApp group also. Here, let's start the annotation also here. Okay. For this purpose, when we are, first of all, we have to know that this is the right side of our lungs and this is the left side, right? The main blood vessel that is supplying deoxygenated blood to the heart is vena cava. It is the largest vein, okay? After this one, it's this chamber that receives blood. So it is, as it is the right side, so it is right atrium, right? Here, a valve is there that is known as tricuspid valve. I will show you the diagram of tricuspid valve also. Tricuspid valve. Then this chamber is known as right ventricle. Okay. Just like I told you that right ventricle supply blood to the lungs. So in this portion, we have a blood vessel that is known as pulmonary vein, pulmonary artery, right? This portion, the right hand side, if you observe here, that here is one artery and one vein. This portion, right side portion, is completely divided by a muscular division, and this is known as septum, right? Now come to the other side. Better I will use yellow color. Okay. Now here, again, this first chamber is there, receiving chamber is there as it is from the left side. So this is known as left atrium. And this portion, lower portion, is left ventricle, right? Between them, a valve is there that is known as bicuspid valve, right? This blood vessel is supplying blood to the heart, so it is known as pulmonary vein, right? And this blood vessel is supplying blood to the whole body, so it is aorta. Aorta is the largest artery. Here again, Observe this thing on left hand side. Also, we have one vein and one artery. Here, one artery, one vein. Now, two most important point here you have to observe, you have to understand that first main point is this left ventricle has the thickest wall. Thickest wall. Reason is that this portion has to pump blood to the all over the body through this aorta, right? This thick muscle wall is responsible to provide a certain level of a pressure, so all the organs will receive blood in no time. Second one is this chamber, left ventricle, is little bit smaller than the right ventricle. Reason is this chamber is receiving blood from all over the body, so it has more blood, whereas this chamber is receiving blood only from the lungs, so it size or volume of this chamber is smaller. All the labelings are extraordinary important. In the exam, if labeling question is there, examiner may ask any question, any labeling from this topic. Now, one point that is very, very important is that there is another name for both the valves, like bicuspid and tricuspid valve, and that is known as atrioventricular valve, right? Although for the tricuspid valve, there is another name, mitral valve is also there, but we have to limit it to our course. Okay, let's move to our slide again. Okay, now here, look at here, septum, a thick wall divide heart into half. We have four chambers are there, left and right sides are there, left and right atrium and left and right ventricles are there. Two valves are there, bicuspid and tricuspid. Now look at this one. Here they are showing you valves. These three cuts are responsible to provide us here that these are three cuts, means tricuspids are there. This has only one slit. Because of this one, now it has only two portions, so it is bicuspid valve. Okay, now for this, now again, as heart is full of blood, but there are special blood vessels are there. They are responsible to provide blood itself to this main organ. These blood vessels are known as coronary arteries. They are present in the outside, in the outer structure of this one. You can observe this thing. Coronary arteries are there. When we are saying here, what is a heartbeat? What is one heartbeat? Our heartbeat is made up of contraction and relaxation of a heart chamber. Okay. For this purpose, remember this thing, that the word systole means contraction of squeeze or contraction, right? Here we have to know that in our syllabus, two types of systoles are there. One is atrial systole and other one is ventricular systole. Wait a minute. Please mute yourself, students. Okay. So for this one, we have another type of systole is there, that is ventricular systole, right? Two types of systoles are there. And diastole means a period of a relaxation where heart muscles are completely relaxed. These two systoles and diastoles means contraction and relaxation makes one heartbeat, and this causes a sound that is a lub-dub sound. Okay, I'm erasing all the video, all these drawing. Now, move to this one. One thing I want to tell you, students, I will upload the video on our WhatsApp group. So don't worry, there is no need to take a screenshot of this one. First of all, for this purpose, I want to show you some. Okay. For this purpose, to understand this diastole and systole, first of all, make a rough sketch. I'm drawing a rough sketch of a heart portion. Okay. Just like as I told you, it is a right side. and this is a left side. Okay. This, whenever we are drawing, okay, I'm using this purple color. Okay. This is vena cava. I'm writing in a short form, vena cava, right? It supplies blood to this chamber, that is the right atrium, right? Here we have a valve that is known as tricuspid. It is a little bit revision also for you. It is a right ventricle, right? This supply blood to the lungs, okay? This is right pulmonary artery. In this portion, please, I'm using this color, okay. Here we have two valves. Here we have two valves also. These valves are known as semilunar valve. As their shape is like a half moon, so they are known as semilunar valves. Okay? Semilunar valve present here also and semilunar valve present here also, right? Now, from this lungs portion, now blood enter into this portion, right? This is left atrium. We have a valve here. This is pulmonary vein. So it means it also have a valve. This supplies blood to the body through the aorta. So here also valve. Altogether we have 6 valves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 valves. And when we are studying these heartbeats, systole and diastole, we have to focus on all the 6 valves. First of all, I'm talking about the atrial systole. Atrial systole means upper 2 chambers are squeezing, are contracting. It means when they are contracting, they are supplying blood to the ventricle portion. Okay. When they are supplying blood to this portion, at this time, definitely these tricuspid and bicuspid valves open, right? Definitely when these 2 valves open, then the blood enter into the right ventricle, okay? In this way, what happened when the right atrial systole is there, at this time, the valve present in the vena cava and the valve present in pulmonary vein, both closes. Reason is that when both the chambers contract, if they open, then there will be a chance of backflow of blood. To avoid this thing, both the valves closes. These 2 gates or these 2 valves are open. Now blood enter into this chamber. Okay. Next is after this atrial systole, we have ventricular systole. Ventricular systole. Right. Ventricular systoles are there. It means now these 2 chambers are contracting. When these 2 chambers are contracting, so at this time, it means that now blood has to enter. So I have to take, okay, this blue color. Okay. Now blood has to enter into this portion or into this portion. It means it is a supply time. So at this time, what happened? These 2 valves, the AV valve, atrioventricular valve must closes, right? When these 2 close, it prevents the backflow of blood, and now the valves present in the pulmonary artery and aorta, they opens. When they open, definitely now blood moves to these organs. Okay. Now, these 2 valves closes in the ventricular systole. These valves may open because now the atria and the ventricles are completely separated. So it can open, no problem. Now after this one, we have a diastole is there. We have a diastole portion. Diastole portion means that now the heart, all cardiac muscles are in a relaxing position. For this purpose, what happened that these 2 valves open. These 2 valves are also open. Now, it means all the 4 chambers are receiving blood with a very small pressure. But at this time, when the diastole is there, these 2 valves closes. Reason is again to prevent the backflow of blood, right? Whenever we are studying about this systole and diastole topic, we have to focus on all the valves, and we have to know when the heart is pumping blood. At this time, it ensures that blood is always flowing only in one direction. Okay. Now, move back to the PowerPoint. Right? Here, summary of heartbeat is there. Diastole, atrial systole, ventricular systole, they all are in the table form. Okay. This we studied in our previous explanation, that heart pumps in two ways. First one is that, okay, it supplies blood to the lungs. When blood is entered into the lungs, at this time, what happened? Okay, this enters into a for the oxygenation process. The remaining blood, look at this, into this diagram. When the heart is pumping blood through the aorta, at this time, what happened? It supplies blood to all the body organs. In our, okay, now move to the structure and function of blood vessels. In our portion, we are limited to arteries, veins, and capillaries. Arteries are the blood vessels that supplies blood or takes blood away from the heart. Okay. All the arteries are carrying oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. But the function of this blood vessel, it supplies blood to the organs. So that is why the name is artery. Okay. This layer, this particular blood vessel has the thicker outlines. It has elastic fibers. And the most important point is that it's lumen. Lumen means the area in which blood is flowing. This portion, this opening is. So it means कि भाई यहाँ पर, कि blood is flowing from this portion. Lumen is narrow in the arteries. Reason is कि when aorta is divide into blood vessels, into the arteries, at this time, blood has highest pressure. When it is entering into the arteries, so it means blood is flowing with a greater speed, and it has a pressure also. Thick elastic walls are responsible to withstand the pressure, right? And with the help of this narrow lumen, blood is reaching to the organ in no time. Now, we have veins. Veins are the blood vessels. They are supplying blood to the heart. Okay. All the veins are having deoxygenated blood. Only pulmonary vein has oxygenated blood. Now, the most important point related to veins, that their lumen is wide and their walls are not elastic. Okay. Lumen is wide and these are not elastic as much arteries. The reason behind it, that their pressure is very low. Next point is related to this one is that they have a valve. In the veins, valves are present, and these valves ensure the blood flow in one direction. Okay, look into this one. If something happened, blood is flowing. Okay. In this way, what happened, limited to this normal vein, there is no need to discuss varicose veins. If suppose due to any reason, blood is flowing back, at this time, these valves closes and they are not allowed to move the backflow of a blood. Okay. This diagram comes in MCQs form many times. Okay. Now I'm giving you the comparison between arteries and veins. Sorry, this is about vein, we leave this one. Come to this one. When a person is moving, at this time, these veins, when the veins get pressure from the muscles, in this way, now blood is moving upward direction. The third type of a blood vessel is a capillaries. Basically, before starting this one, I want to show you this diagram. Look into this one. The red portion is arteries, then the capillaries, then the venules. Okay. Basically, arteries divided into branches. These are known as arterioles, and arterioles are further divided into tiny or very, very narrow blood type of a blood vessel. These are capillaries. The capillaries are the site where diffusion process, diffusion of molecules takes place. Now here, better I'm using the pen, I'm using the pink color. Okay. In this empty portion, cells or tissues are there. Okay. It means that all the capillaries are surrounding or providing the immediate environment to the tissues, right? When they are providing the immediate environment of a tissues and they are responsible for the diffusion, it means that they are supplying glucose, they are supplying oxygen, they are supplying all the amino acids or other vitamins and minerals, whatever the tissues are required, they diffuses from the capillaries to the tissues, right? On the other hand, these tissues definitely they will produce some waste stuff like carbon dioxide or maybe other stuff. So it will, all these excretory stuff or useless stuff, they enter from the tissues to the capillaries by diffusion process. Now all these material enter into venules and all the venules join and open and forms a vein structure. So whenever we are talking about capillaries, you have to keep it in your mind that these are the site where, they have small pores, and with the help of these pores, diffusion process takes place. Okay. Now, when we are talking about heart has blood vessels, heart is full of blood, it has coronary arteries, then how CHD is there? When we are talking about coronary heart diseases, at that time, we have many factors, right? Most important point is that bad feeding habit. They are major factor for causing CHD or cardiac heart diseases. Hypertension, obesity, smoking, lack of exercise, age above 50, maybe it is inherited or maybe due to any infection, right? These are basically the causes of CHD. To avoid CHD, here we can work on our feeding habit. We can avoid tension. We can, when we are going, follow the balanced diet, then we can avoid this thing. We can do exercise, quit smoking. These are controllable factors. We cannot control age. We cannot control inherited condition. Even it is most common in male as compared to female. So the point is, these are non-controllable factor. When someone, if suppose XYZ student is there or person is there that has that inherited CHD. So at this time, if person is follow the best diet, if person is doing exercise, if person is not smoking or exercise is also there, then that, the effect of CHD will be less on that person. Now, if someone got CHD, then the most important factor, the most common thing that doctors are giving statins. Statins are basically the drugs, or commonly we are saying these are aspirins. These aspirins are basically responsible to thin the blood. When blood is little bit thin as compared to the normal one, then it can flow with the narrow coronary arteries also. Now, other treatments are surgical treatments are coronary bypass, angioplasty, and balloon angioplasty is there. Angioplasty or balloon angioplasty is a process in which they insert a stent, insert a balloon into this one or a mesh, or with the help of this one, they try to increase the diameter of a coronary artery, by these mesh or balloons. Or so for this way, sometimes they can clean the coronary arteries also in this way that, okay, that blood vessel work properly. But sometimes it happens that coronary artery is completely blocked, and if someone want to treat that one, that may be a deadliest experiment. Just for example, here they are showing you that coronary arteries are blocked here. In this way, instead they are try to open this one, they are connecting a blood vessel from aorta to the coronary artery. When they are making this type of a bypass, so this is known as cardiac bypass, right? This is all about the blood vessels. Related to this one, till now we completed, let me show you the syllabus also. Till now we completed our circulatory system as a system of a tube with the pump, valves to ensure one-way flow of a blood. Describe the double circulation in terms of low pressure circulation. Then name of a blood vessels. Okay, this is the most important point, that related to heart, 4 blood vessels are there: aorta, vena cava, pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein. When we are talking about lungs, so definitely the blood vessel that is supplying blood to the lungs, it is pulmonary artery, and that takes blood from the lungs, that is the pulmonary vein. Regarding liver, we have, as we know that, okay, hepatic, the word hepatic is limited to the liver, so hepatic artery and hepatic vein is there. And for the kidneys, the word renal is there, renal artery and renal vein. These 3 organs are there with us: kidneys, livers, and lungs. Okay, these 3, if examiner is asking any question related to these 3 organs in terms of circulatory system, then examiner will never provide you the name of the blood vessel. But suppose the question is related with any other organ, like hands, like foot, like reproductive organs, like other organs, whatever, spleen hai, or we have gallbladder or other organ, then examiner will provide you the name of an artery, name of a vein. There is another vein, another blood vessel is there that is related to the half, some portion is also there in our portion, that is related with the, I'm writing that name, blood vessel of an arm is subclavian. Subclavian is basically arm, artery and vein, subclavian vein and subclavian artery. Okay, now straight describe the structure and function of a heart in terms of muscular contraction and working of valves. That means here they are talking about systole and diastole. We completed this topic. Compare the structure, arteries, veins, and capillaries. Okay, related to this topic, I will send you some pictures also on, let me write here also. Okay, I have to send pictures of arteries, veins, and capillaries. On this one, you have to know, there must be a knowledge that bhai, capillaries are very narrow. Arteries and veins, when we are talking about arteries and veins, the basic difference between them related with the lumen, related with their outer wall, and related with their valves. Arteries are without valves, veins have valves. Second one point is arteries have thicker walls to withstand the pressure, whereas veins are, they have normal or less thick walls. Last one is related with that lumen. Arteries have wide lumen, whereas veins have, arteries have narrow lumen, whereas veins have wide lumen. Please, wide and narrow, these are proper adjectives for arteries and veins. Please don't write bigger or smaller. These 2 words are not allowed for this one. Okay, investigate the rate of effect of physical activity on a pulse rate. Okay, it means that bhai, examiner will give you any question in which they are recording the heartbeat. Okay, one thing you have to keep it in your mind, that there are many ways to find out the heartbeat. One way is, the easiest one is that stethoscope is there. With the help of this one, anyone can measure this one. Pulse rate is there. Pulse rate is a heart rate. Okay, then a person can place finger on the wrist portion, even on this neck portion area or a belly button portion area. They can feel the pulse, they can count. But if person is sitting in front of you, how can you find out the pulse rate. At that time, you have to notice that how many times person is breathing in and breathing out. That is also give you the idea of pulse rate. Now the question is effect of physical activity. Means for this purpose, they will give you the idea that, okay, before this physical activity, what is the pulse rate, and between or when a person is doing physical activity, what is the pulse rate, and after this one. This topic is little bit related with the respiratory system, so I will explain there also, because this topic needs to understand the concept of oxygen death also. Okay, now G part is describe the coronary heart diseases in terms of occlusion of coronary arteries. Possible causes are diet, stress, and smoking, and preventive measures. I told you before this one, definitely all the 3 points are there. If someone is following balanced diet, if someone is avoiding stress, if someone is quitting smoking, then definitely that person is following this one. Now, students, we have to go through this topic where we have to understand that blood is flowing in the blood vessels, and in this way, first of all, we have to know that what is the, let me move to the other slide, that the function of a blood. Right? Blood supply oxygen, it supply glucose, amino acid, other useful substances, to the organ, whereas it supply blood, it supply carbon dioxide, urea, hormones from the portion where it is produced to the targeted organ. It means when carbon dioxide and urea is there, definitely carbon dioxide will go to the lungs, urea will go to the kidney, and if hormones are there, if we are talking about hormones, definitely it will produced in the maybe they are pituitary glands. Pituitary gland is producing hormones, so wherever body is needed, then there will be go. Blood is responsible to maintain or it is responsible to maintain the heat also, right? These are the basic function of a blood, right? Don't forget hormone, because these are important points. In the blood, we have 3 main components are there. First is RBC, red blood cells. Red blood cells they have biconcave disc, right? They are thicker in the middle, they are thicker in the sides and thinner in the center portion. They contains iron molecule that is known as haemoglobin. RBCs are responsible to provide oxygen. When oxygen is there, I'm removing Fe, oxygen combined with hemoglobin forming oxyhemoglobin inside the RBC, right? Inside the RBC, and then wherever body is needed oxygen, at this time oxygen is broken down, oxygen bond is broken down from this oxyhemoglobin, and oxygen is supplied to this one, and hemoglobin stays inside the RBC. The most important factor related to this one, that RBCs are without nucleus. This is, you have to keep it in your mind, they are without nucleus. And this way, one sentence that is most important sentence related to the RBCs, that they have more volume as compared to their surface area. More volume means that many hemoglobin molecule fit into this RBCs. Okay, if someone is lacking iron, then it means that person is lacking hemoglobin, and that causes anemia. Right? Next is we have, okay. Students, we have hardly 9 minutes. Let me try to complete. Okay. Then we have WBCs. There are 2 types of WBCs are there. One is phagocytes and other is lymphocytes, right? The function of WBCs is to fight with the pathogens. Pathogens means disease-causing organisms, right? Phagocytes, they are present abundantly in our blood. Their function is known as phagocytosis. Phagocytosis, and okay, I will send you the diagram of phagocytosis also. And for this one, basically, whenever they are finding that okay, one pathogen is there, they just engulf and digest that pathogen with their enzymes. So this process is known as phagocytosis, and this is ongoing process, a continuous process, because we are surrounded by pathogens. Thousands of pathogens enter into our body, and all the phagocytes are continuously working on it, and they are destroying all the pathogens by digesting them. Lymphocytes, okay, let me draw the structure also, because the diagram is extraordinarily important. Examiner may ask in MCQs paper or in other one that they have lobed nucleus. Okay, they don't have a round one. This is the specialty of this cell, lobed nucleus, right? Lymphocytes, they have large nucleus. This is the nucleus, okay? Lymphocytes, they are not destroying themselves. They are producing antibodies. They are producing antibodies, right? And in this way, what happened? These antibodies basically, okay, I'm drawing one bacteria. Oh, sorry, when it is one, so definitely it is bacterium. Okay, this is bacterium, and this is only a cell wall of a bacterium. On this bacterium, on the surface of this one, they have some structures, right? These structures are known as antigens. Okay. Antibodies are these one, suppose. These are antibodies. These antibodies bind with these antigens on the surface of any pathogen, and they are destroying the surface. When they are destroying the surface, it means that they are destroying the pathogen, right? These are the basic difference between phagocytes and lymphocytes. Is phagocytes, they are engulfing and they are digesting the pathogen with their enzymes, and the process known as phagocytosis, and they have lobed nucleus. Whereas lymphocytes are they have a large nucleus, and their function is to produce antibodies. Antibodies are bind with the structure that are present on the surface of a pathogen. These are known as antigens. When they bind with these structures, and they are when they bind, then they will destroy the surface, and when the surface is destroyed, cell wall or cell membrane destroyed, definitely pathogen destroyed. One thing you have to keep it in your mind, that our body is not storing antibodies. Our body is storing only lymphocytes, right? Suppose one time a person got infection, lymphocytes produce, and these lymphocytes produce antibodies. These antibodies destroyed the pathogen. Okay, infection is over now. When the same pathogen enter again, at this time, what happened? Lymphocytes are already there. They will produce antibodies then and there, and then what happened? Okay, they will destroy the pathogens quickly. So keep it in your mind, okay, our body is able to save lymphocytes, even sometimes we are saying for a lifelong. Okay, we have lymph nodes. One thing, this one, lymph nodes are present in our body, in all over the body, from brain till the, and in the legs and in the foot also we have nodes. Basically, lymphocytes are stored in the lymph nodes. Okay, the last component is platelets. Platelets are, if we are saying that platelets are basically fragments of cell, and they are responsible for the blood clotting. Okay, blood clotting process. Now, during this, if someone got cut, there are two types of, cure is there, natural cure is there. If it is just a slight cut is there, at this time what happened, all the platelets make a mesh and they are stopping the blood. Next is another way is there, if a deep cut is there, at this time what happened, that in our body we have in our blood we have soluble protein that is known as fibrinogen. Right? These fibrinogens, when there is a wound, at this time, with the help of platelets, with the help of enzymatic action, these fibrinogens turns into insoluble protein that is known as fibrins. And these fibrins make a mesh and they are also clot the blood. Sometimes they make a scab on the surface also, right? This scab prevent the pathogens entrance into the body. Okay, now let's see the syllabus again. Okay, right? RBCs state the function of a blood. When in this portion in the syllabus, when they are giving you the syllabus, kindly limited to this one: red blood cells, haemoglobin, oxygen transport; white blood cells, phagocytosis, antibody formation; tissue rejection. Tissue rejection is a process in which sometimes it happens WBCs work against own body organ. Sometimes WBCs consider own body organ as a foreign body. This topic again, it is a little bit, it will further discuss in excretion chapter where kidney transplantation is there. Platelets is there, fibrinogen to fibrins causing blood, causing clotting. Plasma, it transport red blood cells, ions, soluble food substances, hormones, carbon dioxide, urea, vitamins, and plasma proteins. And plasma proteins contains, just like here we have fibrinogens and other soluble proteins are there, they are transported. Okay, describe the transfer of materials between capillaries and tissue fluid. Okay, for this one, I need, although meeting time is almost over, this topic I will give you the detailed explanation in the next class. So students, I hope you like it. I will upload the video in the WhatsApp group. Allah Hafiz, students.